Our In the Turn interview this week, again, sponsored by J&C Automotive, located at 740 Brockton Ave in Abington. We are joined this week on the phone by 2023 NASCAR Division 4 Northeast Regional Champion, 2023 Seekonk Speedway Everett's Auto Parts Triple Crown Champion, two-time DAV winner, two-time Pro Stock Division Comeback Driver of the Year, 17 feature wins, 23 top threes, 32 top fives. We are joined by the one and only Jake Vanada. Jake, welcome to Miles on Motorsports. How are you?
I'm doing well, guys. Thanks a lot for having me. How was everyone's New Year?
Fantastic.
Yeah, great.
Fantastic. So,
Awesome.
Jump right into things. Question I always like to ask right out of the gate. How did you, Jake Vanada, catch the racing bug?
So it started a couple generations, like a lot of people before me. My grandfather, I believe it was his cousin, raced sprint cars out in Pennsylvania, which is where my grandfather was from. And my grandfather helped out on that. He was obviously into cars of all kinds of sorts, drag cars, sprint cars, everything else. They moved out here and obviously started to go to Seekonk and stuff like that. My dad started going, and naturally I started going with my dad at a very young age. And my brother and my mom was a family thing every Saturday night we really look forward to doing. And just kind of caught the bug then. My dad ran a season back in 1986 in the street stocks, and kind of just took a few-year break from the competitive end of things because of me and my brother, and then I guess I picked it up on the other end, and my brother did too in his own way. So it's a family thing for sure for us.
Absolutely. So a lot to cover. One question right out of the gate I'd like to ask you. Just made a trip down to Nashville for the NASCAR Awards. Talk to us a little bit about that experience.
One word I would probably use to describe it is surreal and kind of a whirlwind. It was wild. Anyone that has a chance to go, that is fortunate enough to be a state champion, a regional champion, or obviously a national champion needs to go. You meet a lot of cool people. Mike Helton, Ryan Blaney, we met just a lot of people. Being up on stage with Jamie Little and Winston Kelly, just a lot of motorsports legends in different capacities, and it was just a total honor. I was totally flattered to represent Seekonk Speedway down there, and my whole team got to go. My family, my brother, my wife. It was just it was awesome. So I can only hope we get to do it again someday. But if we don't, it's something we're certainly grateful we got to experience once.
Jake, what about this season really meant the most to you? Clearly, it was super successful. You got to represent Seekonk in your own division down in Nashville. What about this season made it so special?
It's for years we've worked so hard, and a lot of racers do, and not everyone gets to reap the benefits and the rewards of their hard work. And this is our 21st season racing. Me and my dad and my guys, and it was nice to finally, be in a position. We ran pro stocks for starting in 2008, went to 2019, and the work we put in just as much work there as we do here. It's just the budget only allows so much, and the reason we went truck racing is because we wanted a chance. We didn't want to have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to have shocks done every year, or when things change, you got to change the shock package, or we didn't want to do that anymore. So we went truck race, and it was just nice to finally really feel some, solid, real, rewards, winning some races and competing for a championship with Rick. And it was that's probably the thing that really was meant the most to me, was just finally being able to show what we were capable of, all these years.
So, like you said, you ran for a championship this year. You did get the 2023 Seekonk Speedway Everett's Auto Parts Triple Crown Championship. For the listeners who might not know what the Triple Crown is, explain that to them and tell us what it meant to win the Triple Crown in the sport truck division.
Winning the Everett's Auto Parts Triple Crown meant a lot to us. The Triple Crown, I feel as if, and I might be speaking out of turn, but it seemed like it was kind of a precursor to a little bit of the current playoff system we have now. And basically it's continued because, it's 3 extra distance. I don't want to say crown jewel. It's probably a little excessive description, but, big races for us, throughout the year leading up to the 4th Triple Crown finale. So, it's about consistency, and I feel like those longer races really are a true test to, what kind of vehicle you have, what kind of balance your race car has. And, I felt really good about ours all year, and it came out to show in the Triple Crown thing. Unfortunately, like I said, the track championship were a little short, but it was what it was, and we were super grateful to get the Everett Auto Parts Triple Crown championship.
So, Jake, moving on to 2024, I know you got some new colors going on there, and you're going to probably put a huge effort in for the championship this year. What changes do you have to make to get you over the top?
First of all, it's totally. I was so flattered. We're so grateful for Roy Andrade and his team to welcome us into their team. Is just it's so much more than any kind of sponsorship or money exchanged. It's really
Jake. You're talking about Everett's, right?
Yes, I am.
Yep.
Yeah.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah.
He helps so many people.
He does. That's exactly what I'm getting at. He's an amazing guy. He does so much for short track racing in our community, and it's just so flattering to be a part of that. We sure hope we can get our program, obviously with Everett, up over the top and try to get a championship to Roy. But it's also important to us to represent him, professionally and have some class doing it. That's certainly important too. But what changes we have to make, I think actually we're not going to make a ton of changes. We're going to stick to kind of what we know and just keep working hard on our stuff, and hopefully it'll add up.
So 17 feature wins, as we mentioned in the intro. Talk to us a little bit. Is there a particular win that stands out to you over your career in those 17 feature wins?
They all mean a lot. I could probably talk a little bit about almost every single one. But I'd have to say our Pro Stock feature win in 2010 and our second feature win, which was an Everett Auto Parts Triple Crown race this past year, meant a lot. And that was because it was our first Pro Stock feature win. It was our only Pro Stock feature win in 2010. And I would say this past year, it was Wheel and Modified Tour Night. We have a lot of friends through my brother that were in attendance, and it was kind of a packed house. And my brother doesn't get to go to a lot of my races, so it was super important to win in front of him and his family. So the whole family was there. A lot of friends were there, and to win back-to-back and come from 10th, it's tough to do that. So that was probably one of the most gratifying we've actually had. Those two really, really stick out to me. I mean, they all mean a lot. They're all a testament to how much work you put in, and you finally get a taste of that, the victory, and make it all worth your while.
Jake, you obviously got new sponsorship for 2024, trying to have another fantastic season ahead. What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge going into the new year for you?
That's a good question. It's just kind of, I think sticking to what we know and what we do and not going too far out of the box is probably going to be, not beating ourselves. We beat ourselves a little bit last season. That's kind of what I'm alluding to. Staying focused on just staying within ourselves and what we know, I think is the biggest thing. It's a competitive division. Obviously starts with Rick Martin. You got to bounce him off the top, and I have the world of respect for Rick and his team. They do a fantastic job, and there's a number of others too. I don't know what Duat's doing. I'm sure he'll be back. Amy Arsenal. There's a bunch of them. So it's a competitive division, more so than probably what meets the eye, because it's the Division 4 and whatever the bottom division, I guess you call it, on Saturday nights. But it's a super competitive division. There's a lot of competitive excellent minds in the division working on these things. George Torgy, Jeff Bellier, Jimmy Kuhn, Ricky Martin. These guys are tough to beat crew chief wise, and the drivers are right there with them too. So it's always competitive. Everyone's always going to give it their best.
Jake, how important is I guess I know how important it is, but why don't you explain to the listeners how important like family is in the racing scene? Because like if I don't have my family backing me, I'm not doing it. So I'm probably pretty sure you're in the same boat as that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, racing has been pretty unifying in different ways for our family. When my dad's had different kinds of cancers that he's tough his way through and set an example for us all. And racing has always kind of been a coping mechanism. For my brother, it's the officiating side, the promoting side, and for me, it's obviously the competing side, working on the vehicle, getting as best as you can. But for us, it's always been as a family. So, I mean, like you said, without your family doing this, it's just not the same. And now, with my wife, we have my daughter coming up, and all she talks about now is cars and wheels and buses. So,
my son's the same way, man.
She's only one. It's like the first word she said was bus.
I'm gonna end up with one of those bandoleros pretty soon. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned myself in a few years, but we'll see what happens. She's still young. Hopefully, my wife, she was into dance. Hopefully, she can, get involved there a little bit, save us some money. But I'm just kidding. I would love for her to be involved. Who am I kidding? In racing, and but that's what it's all about. My grandfather was involved with us, and it's always been, done as a family. And we've outside of our blood-related, relatives, we have, an extended family, and that's all the guys that have worked on our cars over the years. And I've been super grateful in that way too. Those people are family to me as well. That's what it's all about, is the people that support you.
So obviously you've carved your niche quite a bit at Seekonk. Talk to us a little bit about running that track, and obviously they've made some changes there in the last year or so. Talk to us about Seekonk Speedway.
Seekonk is it's super unique. I've ran at quite a few tracks across the Northeast, and Seekonk is my favorite. It's my home. We're from Berkeley, so about a half hour away, towing time. It's a big circle. It's I think the new paving in the corners was really helpful. I think it opened up an outside groove a little bit. Hopefully it's not temporary, just because there's so much bite in the bottom. The track I thought, slowly transitioned back to kind of what I was familiar with. Lost some grip probably throughout the year, my estimation. But it's super competitive. They always say it's a driver's track. If you can drive there, I guess you can drive anywhere. That's what they say. I tend to believe it. There's not too many places where it's kind of a joke. It's kind of serious. There's some legitimacy to it. There's not, but where you go straight in the corners and you turn down the straightaways. So it's tricky. Getting vehicles to handle there can also be tricky. And it was especially a challenge last year because the track changed week to week. It seemed like sometimes practice session to practice session, heat to feature, throughout a night, it could kind of be a little bit different. So it's hard to kind of stay up with. But that was more the new pavement. I don't know. It's my home. I love the place. I think it's unique. The way the stands are, it's a big bowl around it with obviously the cement palace they call it, and the cement stands. So I love it there, and I plan on pretty much never leaving.
Jake, who helped you with your driving early on? Was it your father, or did some of the elders help you there? I know someone who helped me at Seekonk was Vinny, who helped me for a little while. We just started talking, and the more I listened to those old timers, the more they helped me out. And was there anybody along the way who helped you at Seekonk?
Absolutely, and it's very ironic. I'm not sure if you knew this coming into the interview, but Vinny Anarumo.
He's awesome, isn't he?
Yeah. So we bought our first pro stock, the used pro stock off the Anarumos, and Vinny. It was a time when my dad was sick, and Vinny really took a liking to us, regardless of my dad's illness. But because of my dad's illness, he helped us a lot. So it was kind of a joke, really, on my rookie season because. I was looking back at some stats and stuff off season, reminiscing, and you could tell when Vinny worked on our car, came to the shop and helped us set the car up, because it was night and day. The next week would run top 5, then would slowly trickle back to 10th, and then would run top 5. And Vinny was totally my mentor, still is. I still talk to him today about different things, mostly chassis wise, but coming up, it was no doubt about it, Vinny Inarumo. Dick Houlihan was my idol and a very, very close family friend. Mike O'Sullivan was another kind of more modern, younger generation, but Mike O'Sullivan and I are also very close. He was very helpful to me as we try to transition to kind of the bump stop stuff, and Mike was super intelligent about that stuff. But initially, getting around Seekonk Speedway, it was Vinny Inarumo. He taught me pretty much everything I know about working on them, setting the chassis up, and driving them.
2023 Division 4 Northeast Regional Champion Jake Vanada, also the 2023 Seekonk Speedway Everett's Auto Parts Triple Crown Champion, has been joining us. Jake, most important question before we let you go tonight, and we appreciate you joining us, is obviously we mentioned Everett's Auto Parts going to be on the truck this coming year, but any folks, sponsors, friends, family you want to thank for their help so far and going forward?
Yeah, there's a little list of people in my head that I certainly owe a lot to. First, I want to thank all the fans that come out and support us. The fans that are listening tonight. Without the fans, we don't do it. The proof is in 2020, Seekonk Speedway Saturday night was shut down because they couldn't pay the purse because there were no fans there. So that's proof in the pudding to all you fans. We appreciate everything you do. Obviously, I want to thank Roy and Everett. What a tremendous opportunity. Completely honored to be a part of his family, his team going forward. Look forward to representing Roy, Everett's Auto Parts, Everett's Tire Center going forward in 24. Also, I have some returning sponsors that I certainly owe a huge debt of gratitude to, that they've been with me for a long time. That's Viking Sheet Metal, Bumper to Bumper Accessories, Haggerty Construction. Another newer sponsor to us, Watermark Electric, Dave Campbell, one of my best friends. Got to welcome him aboard. Of course, I got to thank my family and crew. My wife, I couldn't do it without her. Especially these days, we have the 1-year-old running around or almost running around. So, she's so supportive to me, and we put so much time into the race car. It's not even funny. So I got to thank my dad and my mom. Those are my owners, my backbone, my personal life backbone, and my racing career. Like I said, my dad's fought through so much to keep us going. Ron Boris, my truck chief, my crew, Dave Gilbert, Jay Daniel, KJ Boucher. I'd like to thank some folks that have done a lot of work for me, Joe Ham Chassis and Snouts, Danny Moore Racing Engines, Kuhn Racing for all your parts needs. Call Jimmy out of East Bridgewater. He'll help you. Seymour Performance Products out of Marlboro. Blackman Graphics out of Rehoboth. And we just, I can't wait to get going. I want to thank you guys, Seekonk Speedway, for keeping it a racetrack and not turning it into God knows what it could be. So super grateful for all those people, and I can't wait to get going.
Excellent. Jake Vanada joining us here tonight on the show, and we will see you. I will see you in a couple of weeks, most likely, at the Seekonk Speedway Banquet Awards. So we'll talk to you then.
Absolutely. Look forward to it, Miles. Thanks a lot, guys. Happy New Year, and we'll see you at the track.